Who is Ralph Cifaretto? Just another psycho with a bad rug? Or the most dangerous man in the Sopranos universe? Why does he get under the skin of even someone like Tony? What's the thread connecting his joke about Ginny Sack, the death of Tracy, and Jackie Jr.'s downfall? And is it true that it all started with his mother, the woman who seemed to break Ralph long before anyone else did? In this breakdown, we'll dig to the bone, and by the end, you'll see Cifaretto in a whole new light. Stay tuned till the end. Most Sopranos characters come with dense backstories. Who they were, where they came from, how they ended up in that world. Ralph's history? Just crumbs. But even those are enough to see. He's not merely unhinged, he's been cracked since childhood. First, his father died when he was 6. School ended early. Responsibility started too soon. Second, his mother, cold, demanding, love nowhere to be found. Third, he was born handsome, not rich. 3 facts, and the picture is already clear. Ralph Cifaretto, a complete bastard. Cruel, abrasive, and before the tragedy with his son, entirely devoid of compassion. An egomaniac to the core. He drains everyone around him, emotionally and physically. Like Tony, Ralph is a pure sociopath. No empathy, no conscience. In that world, those traits help you climb the ladder. But the higher you go, the steeper the fall. Ralph is a walking performance. The outfits, the wig, that repulsive grin. In every moment, as if performing for a mirror. But don't mistake him for an idiot. His mind is sharp. Unstable? Sure. Addicted? Absolutely. But he knows the business. He does the math, plays by the rules, and brings in more money than anyone in the Soprano crew. That's what keeps him alive. To understand Ralph, you have to hit the root. His core is selfishness. Raw and absolute. He always thinks only of himself. People are tools. Take Rosalie. Her son dies. She's shattered, drowning in grief. Ralph pretends to comfort her. A few hugs, a few tears. But the moment her pain starts to inconvenience him, he vanishes. Runs off to Janice because he can't stand someone else's sorrow. Or rather, doesn't want to. And it's no accident he picks women like Ro and Janice. Both are close to Tony, which means dating them gives Ralph automatic access to the Soprano inner circle. Back to Rosalie. Supporting someone in grief is never easy. But in any bond, love, family, friendship, it's part of the deal. Sure, it's hard to be near someone consumed by loss, but another's pain always outweighs your I don't like it.
It only hits Ralph when tragedy comes knocking, when his own son is at death's door. Until that moment, empathy is just noise to him. Classic sociopathy. Until you take the punch yourself, other people's pain doesn't register. But Ralph's ego didn't fall from the sky. As a kid, he had to grow up too fast. When a child is made to play parent before he's ready, the pendulum swings hard the other way. You get an adult who lives by one rule. Now it's my turn to be the center of the universe. Everyone else can get lost. Add to that, the mother he once described as nitpicking and harsh, and it all clicks into place. The hints suggest something deeper than strictness. Real moral, maybe even physical abuse. That's where it begins. Childhood stolen, emotions turned dangerous. That's how numbness forms. The kind that looks like cruelty from the outside, but is really armor. Emotional flattening, as the shrinks would call it. But Ralph's emotional mess isn't just about coldness. Deep down, he craves love. Desperately. He just asks for it the only way he knows how. Through chaos. He puts himself in everyone's line of sight. Loud clothes, that ridiculous wig, the constant antics. All for one reason, to be noticed. Because once, as a boy, he was invisible. And now, he'll burn the house down just to be seen. Chances are, Ralph learned young that to get his mother's attention, you had to act out. Mock her, provoke her, take a slap. Didn't matter. What mattered was the reaction. You exist. Since then, attention has been his oxygen. He clings to it like life itself. But don't think he's empty inside. When someone actually gets to him, especially a woman, he unravels. Look at how he treats Rosalie, what he does to Tracy, the way he talks to Adriana at the Crazy Horse. Ralph's real face shows when Tony tries to rein him in. Ralph shrugs, saying Adriana even likes it. Tony cuts him down. I don't think so. And she doesn't like you. Ralph just sneers. Who cares what some girl thinks? That's not simple chauvinism. It's something older, deeper. His contempt comes from the same old wound, from a mother who offered not warmth, but fear. To Ralph, every woman is a threat. His misogyny isn't arrogance, it's panic.
He both loved and hated his mother, the only woman in his life. Love and terror in one bottle. And ever since, he's been chasing that same twisted cocktail. A pat on the head one moment, a belt to the back the next. Just like when he was a kid. That double face shows up from Ralph's very first scene. He walks in right after Livia's funeral, goes up to Tony with condolences, and slips in, almost casually, that his own mother died not long ago. Half manipulation, half truth. Because no matter how much swagger he throws around, Ralph did mourn his mother, just in his own warped way.
The same pattern runs through his sex life.
Without pain, without humiliation, he can't even get aroused. For Ralph, violence equals intimacy. Sure, not everyone with those kinks had a brutal childhood, but Ralph definitely did. Now layer that over Italian-American culture. The mother is sacred, love for her is law, and you get a man torn in two. On one side, duty to love. On the other, a wound that never healed. The rage of a kid whose soul got mangled long ago. It's important to draw the line. Trauma, perversion, a broken childhood, all that explains a man, but it doesn't excuse him. What matters are the choices. Who you are influences what you do, but never wipes out responsibility. And Ralph? Ralph chooses darkness, consciously. Take something many viewers probably missed. Why does he call Tony Anthony? The name itself doesn't matter. It's all about tone and timing. It's passive aggression disguised as familiarity, a subtle form of dominance that can't be called out directly. For Tony, it's a trap. Complain about being called by your full name and you look ridiculous. But for Ralph, it's perfect. A power move wrapped in fake warmth. Like a parent scolding a kid by using their full name, he reminds Tony who's in control. It's Ralph's way of saying, I'm on your level, maybe even above it. There are 4 key moments in Ralph's story that reveal just how sick he really is. The prank call to Polly Walnuts' mother, or technically his aunt. The way he manipulates Jackie Jr., the murder of Tracy, and most likely, the fire at Pio Mai's stable. For anyone who forgot, in one episode, Ralph gets back at Polly for snitching to Johnny Sack about that Ginny Sack's 95 pounds joke. But he does it the Cifaretto way, by calling Polly's mother, pretending to be a detective, and hinting that Polly's some kind of Michael Jackson superfan. Supposedly a joke, but come on, that's no joke. Dragging an old lady, your colleague's own mother, into mob politics? That's beyond low. The woman's elderly. A stunt like that could have given her a heart attack. Yeah, Polly acted like a rat, no question. But if you've got business, call a sit-down, handle it by the rules. Don't terrorize some innocent grandmother. The scene is hilarious, sure, but it's also the clearest window into Ralph's soul. He's not just an idiot in a wig, he's dangerous. To everyone around him. And when he wants something, there's no line he won't cross.
The Jackie Jr. story exposes Ralph completely.
He doesn't mentor the kid, he indulges him. Because Ralph thrives when someone looks up to him. He takes Jackie on a job, gives him a gun, pulls him into the life, even takes a cut from his sorry little crew. It's not mentorship, it's self-worship disguised as guidance. Things turn truly dark when Ralph tells that story. How Tony and Jackie Sr. once stuck up Feech's card game. He doesn't tell it like a funny old tale, he tells it like a challenge. And right beside him sit 2 eager puppies, Jackie Jr. and Dino Zerilli, eyes wide, hanging on every word. Maybe Ralph didn't expect them to actually do it, but he knew exactly what he was planting, and he lit the match anyway. The result? A bloodbath. Sunshine dead, Furio shot, every kid involved wiped off the map. Yet even that mess fades next to what he did to Tracy. She's 20, dancing at the bada bing, already carrying heavy baggage. A kid, a broken past, a flicker of hope. Ralph beats her, mocks her, drags her into violence. He laughs when Silvio roughs her up, and then he goes lower. If it's a girl, we'll name her after you. Maybe she'll grow up to be a whore too. Tracy hits him across the face, and that's it. The mask drops. Ralph disappears, and the terrified child he used to be steps forward. The one beaten, humiliated, frightened. He snaps. Kills her. Later he blames the coke, but come on, it wasn't the drugs. That was the real Ralph. No excuses, no filters. Beaten down by his mother since childhood, physically and emotionally, Ralph's entire life becomes one desperate, ugly attempt to prove he's a real man. And then comes the final nail in Ralph's coffin, the horse, Pio Mai. After his son's accident, something almost human stirs in him. He looks back, talks about guilt, proposes to Rosalie, even sets up a scholarship in Jackie Jr.'s name. For a moment, it seems like maybe, just maybe, redemption is possible.
But no, Ralph stays Ralph.
When Piomai gets sick and the vet bills pile up, the old mob logic kicks in. He hears about the insurance money, and suddenly the stable goes up in flames. The horse dies. There's no proof, but Tony knows, and so do we. To Ralph, it was just a horse, another asset to squeeze for profit. Ralph thought the worst Tony would do was yell, maybe throw a few threats his way, make a scene, then let it go. He never expected Tony to break the unspoken law, to kill a made man without New York's permission. Ralph Cifaretto was a man without a moral compass. Whatever humanity once lived inside him burned out long ago. Piomai wasn't a creature to him, just another asset, another payday. Later, he tries to justify it, mumbling about needing money for his son's treatment. But that was theater, a one-man show. Tony, though, he's a different animal. He's capable of brutality, yes, but he has a line. He doesn't touch the helpless. When he realizes what Ralph has done, or could have done, it's not about the horse anymore. It's about Tracy, about Jackie Jr. Tony did what no one else would. He ended it. Ralph Cifaretto finally paid for everything. But here's the real truth. Ralph isn't just a villain. He's a mirror, Tony's own reflection. Ralph is Tony, if Tony ever stopped fighting his demons. And that's why Tony hated him so much, because he saw himself staring back. Like Tony, Ralph grew up under the weight of a cruel, unstable mother. But Tony had anchors, his father, Uncle Junior, the crew, the family. Ralph had nothing, just the worst version of Livia Soprano. Everything that barely holds Tony's darkness in check doesn't exist in Ralph at all. Maybe Tony got lucky. He married Carmela, they had kids, and somehow that became his moral compass. Ralph once said he wished he could meet a woman like Carmela, said that maybe then he'd have had a shot at a normal life. Tony is a man of contradictions, a criminal, a liar, a killer, but still capable of kindness, attachment, guilt. He can be generous, tender, even sentimental. And yes, he feels things in a real human way. Otherwise, he'd never have walked into Dr. Melfi's office in the first place. Ralph inspires no such warmth. He provokes disgust, not empathy. Where Tony feels, Ralph resents. He can't care for anyone. He doesn't want to. He only knows how to take. That's what makes him terrifying. Ralph isn't a classic villain. He's the ghost of what Tony could become in another universe, a version stripped of anything human. Remember that nightmare near the end of Season 4? Tony walks through a dark, decaying mansion. At the top of the stairs, a woman's silhouette, cold, almost spectral. That's Livia, his mother, and the house itself, hell. And who leads Tony there? Ralph Cifaretto.
Ralph is the one who opens the door to what Tony fears most, the absolute void.
A world ruled by the ghost of his mother, where there's no love, no warmth, and nothing left alive. Only ashes. Like Piomai, like Tracy, like Tony Soprano, if he ever stopped fighting the monsters inside him.